I think we were both frustrated by how our industry treats people. You can get so much out of your team if you take care of them, you show them opportunity, you give them value. It doesn't need to be this ugly contract, do what I say mentality. We're just trying to change that step by step, one job after another, and keep moving forward.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to bring you a new episode of the Real MF'ers with someone who I've watched and admired for quite a long time, and we've met on LinkedIn. His name is Garrett Moss. He is the president at Moss Utilities. He's very open. He shares so much with everyone on there, and I'm just excited to bring him to you guys so he can see how he got his business off the ground and what he does now to build his marketing strategy in a very unique way, all through social media. Garrett, welcome to the show, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Right, Scott. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here and excited to talk about everything you have today.
Well, the reason I'm excited to have you on is I've just admired what you've done in the construction industry. I always looked at you, and before I even knew you or after we even talked, as I would describe you to others, I would always say, look, Garrett is one of these guys who I think is in the construction world, but it's almost as if he came from a different retail background or other industry, and he's bringing all these things he learned and somehow got thrown into the construction industry. Because the way you would just bend the norm, or the way you'd present what I like to call a different customer experience in a world that's been very specific and very normal forever, you're sort of doing that, but adding all these other things to it that you might find in other worlds. And I just thought it was a super cool way to go about it. I think it definitely made me notice you more, and I'm sure it's helped you really grow your business. Maybe, if you don't mind, can you just talk a little bit about how you got into the construction industry overall, and then kind of morph that into Moss Utilities and what it is today?
Sure. So I am actually fifth generation in this business. A lot of people get into construction from their family. My dad, my uncle, and my grandpa all owned a construction company called Moss Construction from 89 to 08. And, I grew up with my dad being an entrepreneur and saw what that did for him. He barely graduated high school, just worked really hard. Family business, they did really well for themselves in the 90s and early 2000s. And then 2008, they lost their business, made some mistakes and lost everything. So I've seen the full swing of what construction can do for somebody, both the highs and the lows. I always thought my dad was just going to hand me that company, thought I'd just have it easy. And then, 2008, in the middle of college, he lost everything, and I was at college like, what do I want to do now? Got done with UT down in Austin and moved back up to Dallas, took a couple other jobs doing stuff completely different. Decided I didn't want to do the family business. I'd seen all the heartbreak it caused when he lost everything, and went to work for a barbecue grill manufacturing company out of school. Ended up working for an HVAC contractor for a little bit, not really knowing what I was going to do. And then one day I got a fateful call from a recruiter to get me to go to another competitor of ours as an assistant project manager. I kind of thought that'd be the easiest way for me to be an entrepreneur. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Kind of saw that in my path to own my own company one day doing something. And utilities, I figured with my dad's network of people, I could utilize that, maybe try to get back into it. And then, 2 years later, I'm starting my own business, and I love what we do. It's very tough. It's really challenging. I didn't know everything that went into it. I didn't really know what I was doing getting started, and learned a lot of stuff the hard way.
How long has it been since you started Moss Utilities?
We started in September of 2016. So my partner, Case, and I, we worked for a competitor. I was a project manager. He was a superintendent, and we just got along really well. My skill set was more in the office, learning the PM side, estimating. He's the field guy. He came up as a master plumber and then got into utilities 5 or 6 years before that. And he's super smart when it comes to the technical field aspect, running the crews, putting the actual work in. That's stuff that I have no idea about. We started off the company with me estimating, me PMing, him controlling the crews. And it was just good teamwork. Our skill sets balance well off of each other. And it's been a great partnership that's had highs and lows, but it was really strong. We've been through a lot together, and I think that's a big key to our success.
Was it Case that said, you know what, I don't want to work here anymore, I want to actually get into business? Or was it meeting Case, or was it your idea and you and Case sort of collaborated? What was the last push that said, you know what, let's jump out on our own?
I think I had to talk him into it. I think he was frustrated too, but one day, you hear us both tell the story. One day we just decided to go meet at Starbucks, and that's where Moss Utilities was born. We kind of just went up there and said, why couldn't we do this for ourselves? And I think we were both frustrated by how our industry treats people. And we saw that there was no upward mobility for us where we were at, that the company didn't really care for their employees like we do. We just saw a different way to do it, and we're frustrated that there wasn't any voice or option for us. And we got the plans together for the business. I borrowed some money from my grandparents. They were kind enough to loan me $60,000 out of their retirement money. Our first employee was Parker Thane. He's now our general superintendent. He started with Case as a labor hand 5 or 6 years before that. So our team's just built solid from the ground up and really been a good fit for each other.
How did you guys take that initial thought and idea of what you wanted to do, how you wanted to treat people? I would call that sounds like you guys really had a culture in mind that you wanted to create. How did you take your vision of the culture that you wanted and then actually implement that into this business that you've now grown from one employee to over 40 employees you have?
We're almost at 200. And I think it's been, step by step, trial and error. But that's one thing Case and I always agreed on. We've never disagreed on how we want to treat people. And he's a good voice for the guys in the field. And Case has had to learn a lot about the money side of the business, how we have to be profitable, how we have to do certain things to make a profit. So you can't just have unlimited resources to give to the guys, but you can get so much out of your team if you take care of them. You show them opportunity, you treat them like they're humans, you give them value. We really pride ourselves on that, and we're okay with, even that means less profit in the short term by spending more on our people, paying them fairly, giving them the resources they need to get the job done. And in the long term, we're going to win. We're starting to see that.
As you grow, it's I've found as there's more and more employees, it's harder and harder and harder for you to be close to each individual one. Right. How did you, as you scaled, how did you keep that culture at front of mind?
So we had a lot of problems with turnover getting started. We would go through a lot of crews, a lot of superintendents, a lot of project managers, and it just took trial and error. There were lots that we thought were going to be special that didn't end up working out. But our core group, Kelly, our controller, Sarah, our director of HR, Case, Parker, myself, Sean Lane, one of our project managers, has been with us since the beginning. That core group has always stayed really tight and intact, and we've taken that group and built upon it. We have very little turnover, especially at the upper positions now. We keep our crews, we keep our superintendents. Our project management team has done a 180 in the last year. I mean, our pre-con team has been growing and great. So we really do keep quality people and make it worthwhile for them to stay with us long term.
So tell me how now you took that thought process that you and Case had, you implement that to your team and your employees and your management team. How did you take that now to your customers? How do you interface with your customers? How did you guys decide to bring what I called in the beginning of this conversation, a whole new strategy or a new field? Did you do that intentionally, or was that purposeful, or just?
When you're getting started, you kind of take whatever you can get, right? You take whatever customer will let you bid their projects. You kind of just are hunting for work, and you don't really know. We didn't have a lot of experience with dealing, at our previous company, we weren't responsible for chasing any of the work. So work just kind of got handed to us. We didn't really understand the whole process. So what I've learned is, especially in Dallas, this commercial market is cutthroat. It's low bid and go. It's who can beat out the other guy. And, we just didn't like that. We didn't like working for the people that we were working for. So we've made a conscious effort over the last 3 or 4 years to develop relationships, do a good job for our customers and work on our reputation and get business word of mouth and just enjoy who we're working with. I'm a big critic of the whole general contractor subcontractor relationship. I think it's kind of adversarial. It's how it's done. I think there's better ways to do that. And I've been pretty vocal about, I think that needs to change. And that's gotten me some backlash, on LinkedIn, on stuff like that. But it's possible to create a true teamwork partnership with general contractors and trade partners. And it's possible to enjoy working with other people. It's possible to have fun while we're working. It doesn't need to be this, ugly contract, do what I say mentality. And we're just trying to change that step by step, one job after another, and keep moving forward.
Have you found that approach has helped you basically quickly weed out certain general contractors or owner developers that you might be able to work with faster than others? Like, meaning, they know who you are and what you're about. They lean into you quicker, or they run away from you faster?
I'd say both. What I like about LinkedIn is I get a lot of criticism kind of backwards. I hear, oh, somebody doesn't want to do business because of what I say on LinkedIn. I'm like, I've learned now to be like, great. Like that's probably not the customer I wanted anyway. So it's good to weed those guys out. I think you're better off weeding them out ahead of time than you are going to do a job, trying and going through all the pain. A bad customer may take us 2 years to clear out with how long the projects are. So getting started, we work for pretty much anybody and everybody, and we've had to whittle that down. And now we're a lot more selective on who we want to work with, a lot more selective on who we bid. Really trying to find the right partnerships and the right team to be a part of. And then using branding, using marketing, using social media to get our name out there for the other guys out there that haven't used us before. But all of a sudden, they see us working all across town. They see our logo on our trucks. They see us on LinkedIn. They see, oh, hey, you know what? Moss Utilities is probably a pretty good company. And that's attracted us better customers.
That's a great segue into what I also think is so impressive with what you guys have done with your branding and marketing. Can you just talk about where did that come from? What gave you that idea and gave you the courage really to implement that and know the value in it? I
think it was getting started. It was just pride. I had our first logo designed for $35 on a website and just wanted it. It was on both of our initial trucks, and just really proud of putting our logo, putting a clean truck on the job site. Just really understood that sometimes it's about how you show up and what people's impression of you is. And if you're getting started in your brand new company, you have a big hill to climb to get work. People don't trust new contractors. It's hard to get work. So if you show up in clean branded trucks, clean equipment, newer equipment, you're not all beat down. People just think, oh, okay, maybe they're a little bit bigger than I thought, or maybe they're a little bit, more sophisticated or have more juice behind them. So we've taken that to a whole nother level, and our brand is really powerful and speaks our mission and speaks to our core values and what we believe in. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from our brand. People love our trucks. They love our logo. They can see us coming up and down the road. They love it when we hit their job site. It's interesting because I think it certainly makes you stand out, right? So you get people's attention, but if they see you and they see the brand and they see the trucks and you're doing a great job, because that's the most important thing, and you're performing, doing what you said you would do, then delivering and doing what you say and doing a great job, then is synonymous now with this brand. Yeah, definitely. It'd be one thing to show up with a bunch of new equipment and a bunch of clean trucks and then not really be that good. We can't sell ourselves if our team is not out there doing a fantastic job. Nobody's going to use us again if we're not doing good. So while our branding and being out there and being kind of loud about it is very polarizing, we have a lot of people that talk a lot of crap about us, and that's okay. Let people, if people aren't talking about you, maybe you're not doing something right. We're pretty proud of the work we do. We're pretty proud of what we bring to this market, and we want to get that out there and let people know and work on building the industry up as a whole, not just us. And I think it's great for your employees too. I think it says a lot about you guys. Just because you're on a construction site in the rain, digging holes, putting pipe in the ground, doesn't mean that you have to do it in a dirty truck. It can be clean. You can feel good about driving onto that site. Yeah, and I don't know why, but there's this stigma from a lot of our competitors, people in the industry that think having nice trucks like that is showboating or spending all your money. Or I can't tell you how many times I've heard that we're going out of business because we can't afford our trucks. It's just funny how people view different things, and we really take pride in that and take pride in having the right equipment for the right job. A lot of people don't know the hidden secret is you can take an old truck that runs well, but put a brand new wrap on it and it looks brand new. Doesn't have to be a brand new truck. Exactly. And that's a $600 wrap. It's not, a huge cost. So yeah, taking pride in your equipment and your vehicles and your shelf doesn't have to cost a lot. It's like dressing nice. You don't have to buy the designer clothes to dress nice. I couldn't agree with you more. So let me shift gears. Another important thing that we always hear about from employees to marketing is also financing a construction business. And you've shared that a ton. I mean, you talked about taking this $60,000 loan and turning it into the Moss Utilities of today and how hard it is in the construction world, the adversarial nature of it. But how did you finance the construction business? Why is that a topic that you're so passionate about and willing to share? It means a lot to me because that's where my biggest mistakes have come from. And the hardest things I've been through have been around how to finance this company. And I like sharing it because I didn't know any of this stuff. Case and I got started and we had a pretty good idea how to put the work in. I could do an income statement projection, but I had no idea about a cash flow projection. I had no idea about how retainage was going to eat us up as we grew. I had no idea about how long it would take to collect some of the money, um, and what could happen if you run out of cash, and how much sleep I'd lose, how many nights I didn't know how we were going to make payroll. So that's been the cause of a lot of my anxiety and stress with this business. It kind of changed me as a person. And now that we're on the other side of that, improving and going forward, it just makes me so thankful that I got through that. But it's hard, and people need to know if they want to go start a construction company that how you finance the business, how you cash flow it, your plans for growth need to be thought about. And the G in growth is not always for good. Growth can really hurt a construction business. So it's got to be well planned out, well thought about. And, we got started with a $60,000 loan and then a small SBA loan. I was able to find a banker to give us an SBA loan getting started. But we went through some really terrible banks. I probably interviewed 40 or 50 different banks here in DFW over the last couple of years. None of them like construction. No banker wants to lend to new businesses, especially construction businesses. So it's been really tough, and we were able to do it somehow all with debt, something that I would not recommend. For a while there, we were looking for equity options. We were looking for partners. We were looking for anything we could get our hands on to help us finance our retainage. And we went through a lot of operational struggles at the same time. I had trouble being profitable, and we've gotten lucky and worked really, really hard to get out of that. And we're not going to forget it. It's taught us a lot of valuable lessons, and it's an important topic to me. And I like sharing it. I want other people to see that what they're going through, they're not alone in that, and that there's the options out there. If you guys were around when we got started, you would have been a great option for us. And there's people out there going through that too. So.
Yeah, actually, it's good to point out. I think a lot of people are probably watching this and thinking that you're a customer of Mobilization Funding, or we've helped you before, and that's why we're doing this. And that's actually not the case. We've never made loans to Moss. Moss has never asked us to make loans to them. It is really a relationship that Garrett and Scott developed personally, just talking back and forth. And the thing that always resonates with me the most that you had said is like, I just wish I knew some of the things I know now. And I'm always hurdled, and I talk to our team about this all the time, is, guys, I don't care if someone's driving down the street and makes a phone call to us and they're looking for a Jiffy Lube and they made the wrong call. Like, you're in front of your computer, type in Jiffy Lube, ask them where they are and give them the directions, and then hang up. Do whatever it is to help those folks, help those people. And I want people to come to Mobilization Funding for whatever reason they come to us for, and use our resources just to help them. Sometimes it might be our loan program, but most of the time it's not. And listening to your story, I knew it was funny, because if you put the pieces together, the gentleman I had spoken, met with maybe a year earlier than that, you were perfect to meet and connect with, which helped piggyback you into finding somebody else to get you what you ultimately needed, which was great. But from a tactical perspective, if I'm another subcontractor listening to this conversation, what would you tell them to not do that you learned or you wish you didn't do? Or what would you tell them to do that could make a difference for them? Because you're right, banks don't want to finance construction companies. They don't want to finance new ones, but yet you made it happen. So if you were to shrink that learning curve down for them and a couple things of what not to do and what to do, what would you say those are?
I think just finding somebody that does what you want to do and going and asking them for help is a huge, would be a huge advantage. And so if you want to start a construction company, if you want to start any type of business, finding that mentor, people want to send the ladder back down. They want to help. And that's something that I didn't do a good job of. And if I did, I probably would have somebody sitting there having me tap the brakes on our growth, have me slow down, have me like, okay, let's make sure we're profitable here at this size. Let's make sure we have all of our processes in at this size. Let's wait until we grow. And I had people in my ear telling me to slow down a little bit. I just didn't want to listen. If you want to get started on your own as an entrepreneur, it's great. It's really rewarding, but it's a lot harder than you think. And you really have to be thinking about where's the money come from. Our first 3-year projections, if you look back, I said we want to do $4 million our first year, $6 million, second year, $8 million the third year. For our first full year, we did $22 million. So people kind of like, well, that's great. Wow, how'd you do that? It's not great. It was a dumb decision. It was it almost put us out of business. And so all growth isn't great. Chasing every work you could think of without really knowing the repercussions of it, not a good decision. So I think you slow down, you grow in stages. You make sure you're working on fundamentals. working on your operations and at certain smaller sizes, and then take it to the next level when you're ready.
Is there any type of certain financing that you would avoid?
Ooh, I think you guys say it just as loud as I do. Merchant cash advances. We are one of the few people out there that have survived them. Those are absolutely terrible. It's loan shark money. I can't say enough 4-letter words about those kind of guys. And we got lucky and were able to get out of one. After that, we moved on to an asset-based lender and then back to a traditional bank. But a lot of the companies don't survive taking out merchant cash advances. You need a true lending partner or a true financing partner that understands your business and can build something to help. That's a win-win. And those guys don't do that.
Your story is a good one, though, because if you think about the options you had, and the one thing I want people to take away from what you've said, and you've said it a few times, I don't know if you do this intentionally, but you've put forth a lot of effort. You said you interviewed 50 banks. I mean, that takes a lot of effort and energy. You're not like just taking the easy road. If you take the easy road every time, easy is talk to one bank, they say no. Talk to 2. Shit, talk to 10. You can probably pat yourself on the back and say you did a good job, and you still got no. But you went to 50. You know what I mean? And even after the 50th one, you didn't get the best solution, but you got one. And then that one turned into another one. And I think if I were to make sure anyone walked away from this, particularly this segment of this conversation, I want them to know those things, that the effort and energy you poured into it is what got you the result. It wasn't like luck.
Especially get really frustrated because most bankers don't. Right now, they're just checking boxes. They're just, hey, do you fit this little box? Do you have this ratio? Is this number right on your balance sheet? Is this okay? Here's a loan. And you get really frustrated when bankers don't want to really get to know anything about your company, anything about your story. There's not a whole lot of personal banking going on anymore. And we're really lucky that we found one now, but it took trying. It took a lot of effort. We even had a couple of equity deals fall through. I had a term sheet from a hedge fund to give us a bunch of money that fell through. It ended up being a completely probably fraudulent hedge fund. So we've just been constantly plugging, and our ability to just keep going one foot in front of the other and just keep fighting. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we didn't know we were going to make payroll. I mean, as scary as that is. And I'm not scared to put that out there because people need to know that it's real and it's tough. And it feels a lot better getting through it now and learning the lessons the hard way. I'm very thankful that we had to go the where we did. Like you said earlier, it's taught me a lot.
We're never as alone as we might think we are. It's just everyone's dealing with the same stuff. A lot of people have gotten through it, and a lot of people are on the other side of it. And all the answers are out there if you look for them. So I think it's great that you're willing to share that stuff. I want to talk to you a little bit about your marketing aspects. You have done a great job, in my opinion, getting on LinkedIn, talking about it. We've discussed that so far today. Was that something you've always done and you just took it from personal and brought it to business, or did you start it with a specific intent?
I started using LinkedIn right as we got started, but just a little differently. When we first got started, I would do a lot of cold messaging, and it was my way of, knocking on general contractors' doors. LinkedIn kind of gives you direct access to some guys that guys you don't have their cell phone number or maybe even email address, but you can go add X company that you want to target, add everybody on LinkedIn and shoot them a message. And that can annoy people. It's kind of like cold calling. You're going to get a lot of no's or a lot of being ignored. But we got some hits off that. And then one day, I don't know, but I just started voicing my opinions on stuff, voicing my emotions about our business, telling people how I feel about certain situations, things I want to change. And that wasn't really a marketing program to me. That's just me getting out, just, however I'm feeling that day. I don't have a set topics I want to talk about. I don't really have a set, time of the day I post. I really don't think about it that hard. I really just talk about how I'm feeling and be genuine about it. And I think that resonates with people. And the really cool feeling is you walk into a new customer's office for, a meet and greet, and they're like, man, I've been following you on LinkedIn. I love what you have to say. They feel like they already know us as a company. They already know what we stand for. So there's some real power in social media. It's not really advertising. It's not really, marketing. It's just getting our story out there and getting people to know what we're fighting for. And, you gave me one of the best compliments the other day when you said that when you read my LinkedIn post, it sounds like me because you've talked to me before, and it sounds like I'm being just myself. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying just to talk about topics that maybe people are scared to talk about and just be myself.
The other thing, a fellow mentor of ours, Andy Frisilla, always says, half the people out there are going to be dispositioned to like you and half the people aren't. And just focusing on the people that are more likely to like you and pouring into them is going to be a better use of your time and theirs than it would be to try to make the people that aren't really going to dig you anyway happy.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And it's a lot more fun dealing with that side anyway, and just ignoring the other stuff. I used to be really worried about everybody liking me and everybody, what people thought about me. And now I've just learned just to be myself, and the genuine people that care about you and want to see you succeed will be there.
So Garrett, what's next for Moss Utilities? Where are you going? Where are you and Chase taking us?
We just started a new company called Moss Mechanical that I'm pretty excited about. Moss Mechanical is going to do HVAC and plumbing. We're going to do specialize in new construction for custom homes, residential service. We'll probably do a little bit of light commercial too, but I'm really excited to get that company going. I've got another great partner, Case, myself, and Gray Roberts are partners in that company. And it's a completely different business model than utilities. The cash flow is a lot better, better margins in it. And we've got a really good team, and we get to go service people directly and residential customers, and, give back to people. And I like that aspect of it too, being a little bit out of the commercial world into residential. So we're pretty excited about that. Have a great team getting built there, and looking forward to continuing to grow as Moss Utilities. We're projecting 15-20% growth this year from last year with utilities. This DFW market is booming. There's lots of work. It's still super competitive. It's tough. It's challenging. We're just getting better every day. So we're just living to fight another day and keep going.
I really think, man, when you take your brand, your style, and your approach directly to the consumer in their own home, you're going to separate yourself even farther and faster than you did on the commercial side. That's
what I think will happen too, because you can do a great job in commercial. You can be the best utility contractor out there, but the next project comes along and that GC is going to want you to be low guy, or match the low guy's price, or be competitive. Now we can take value directly to consumers that are willing to pay a little bit more for that service, pay a little bit more to be the best. And we're going to be the absolute best in anything we do, because we're not going to settle for anything less. There's
a great book I read by a guy named MJ DeMarco called The Millionaire Fastlane. And probably the greatest takeaway out of that is a principle called SUCS, S-U-C-S. And it's superior, unexpected customer service is one of the best separators in life. And he gave this analogy about, like, if you call a bank and they answer the phone with an automated voice, says, press 1 for this, and then press 2 for that, and 4. By the time you get through, you're 5 minutes on the phone, you press 16 numbers before you wait on hold for 20 minutes for an operator. And he said, imagine if you picked up that phone and someone answered. And I think about that analogy of what the average consumer's expectations are when they call a plumber, an electrician, air conditioner, mechanical to their house. It's such a low bar.
Right.
When you deliver unexpected customer service to them, they are going to pour back into you 10x. And I think you'll see that business grow so fast.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Yeah, we're going to use word of mouth. I don't plan on, radio commercials and gimmicks, and that's just not who we are. I think you do a good job, and we want to be the Cadillac, the premier HVAC and plumbing company, and if we deliver that high quality work and those relationships, and that's going to carry over. So we're super excited about that.
I wish you guys were in the Tampa market. I can't tell you that I have a perfect residential plumber, electrician, or HVAC person. So, I mean, if you ever want to have a satellite office, this market's ripe for that. I can tell you that much. All right. One quick thing we like to do to wrap this up. I call the lightning round, 3 quick questions that you can answer just off the top of your head.
Okay.
First one is, what is the one thing that you believe determines a business success or failure?
I'd say the ability to deal with adversity and keep going. I think if you apply that to everything you do, and never give up, that you're gonna get through it.
Do you have one piece of advice or a specific thing that you want everyone that listens to this to take from this call?
One thing I've learned is if you surround yourself with good people in all aspects of your life, family, friends, your employees, your team, surround yourself with good people, and the rest is going to take care of itself.
Garrett, man, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to do this, man. I really, really, really appreciate it. I think our customers, our clients, our audience is going to get a ton of value out of this, and your willingness to share your experiences, your candor, the way you do it is really, really awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate all your help, and you give me a lot of guidance and support over the years. So
likewise, my friend, likewise. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us, taking a listen. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you like the show, please take a moment to subscribe and leave us a review. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. If you'd like to learn more about Mobilization Funding, visit us at mobilizationfunding.com. And we'll see you next time right here on the Real MF'ers.